Welcome to the PWI and Bell to Bells interview series where we're highlighting the women who've been announced on the PWI 500 list. And I am Emily Mae, and I am so excited to be a part of this series. And I am even more excited to welcome my guest, current Girl Fight champion, Billie Starkz. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I know it has been a long time since we've spoken, and so I have to congratulate you for being number 441 on the
Yeah.
PWI 500 list.
It's really insane. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually on this?
So how does that feel? I mean, out of 500 wrestlers to be 441, what does that feel like for you?
It just feels like all of my hard work is paying off because it's been a insane past year and I've been working my butt off even though all the challenges that have happened. And it's just an amazing feeling. And then also just like my family's reaction to it has been crazy. And I got like a few texts from my friends that like go to school with me and I'm like, oh, you guys actually pay attention to what I'm doing sometimes?
That's awesome. So talk about how you found out you were on the list. And I want to hear about your family and friends' reaction.
Oh, okay. So my mom has access to my social media. So she actually found out before me because I was like busy doing stuff and I get a message of like, hey, I'm like, what's going on? And she tells me and I get really happy about it. And she's like, oh, and then we hid it from Mouse, which is my stepdad. And
Why? Why did
he,
you hide it?
I feel like his reaction's better when it's a surprise.
Hmm.
And I wanted to see the initial reaction. But I actually like spoiled it for him like the morning that it was like coming out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just tell him because it was on like my car ride to school. And I was like, hey, I got some big news for you. And this is after he made like all of his dumb tweets, which was having me on a roll. I was like, oh my God, I love this man so much. But if you ever want to like go look at what he's been posting, it's at like Mouse Wrestling Adventures, and he's just a little ball of pro wrestling, and it makes me laugh. Um, but I like spoiled it for him, and he just lit up like a Christmas tree. I was like, I feel like I was really happy about it, but he was more happy about it. And he keeps joking about it that he's gonna get like a sign in our front yard and all this crap. And I'm like, oh no, my neighbors are gonna be like staring and like, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, is he gonna make like a banner and like a light up sign right outside on your front lawn? I can see
Yes,
it.
he's like joked about it, and then he was like, after like we get the use out of it out in the yard, we're gonna put it in the garage with all the other wrestling stuff. And I was like, okay.
Okay, are they gonna order 100 copies of the magazine, pass it out to family for a holiday card?
I think he got like his like telling everybody about it like the day it came out and just sharing the post with everybody like look at this. So he got his moment in there, but I think we're definitely getting like a few magazines, like one to just like keep in a frame, one to like go in the stack because we always get one every year. Since like Mouse's pictures have been in it, and he's like, they better be using one of my pictures for it. That was his first comment. I was like, I'm sorry, I did not choose the picture.
That's so funny. I love how everyone has different reactions. I love that you're getting messages from your friends. It's been such a great reaction, and you're among many women that it's a lot of their firsts on the list for the first time. How does it feel to like this being your first year on the list? Does it give you some extra feeling?
It gives me a lot of joy, but then it also gives me the expectation of moving up. So I want to like have progress and that be shown through this. So that's one of my goals is been added to the list of like getting higher and higher ranked. I think that's like a good goal for me and something that I think is possible.
Definitely. I mean, So let's talk about this past year because, like you said, you had so many challenges. We all had many challenges across the industry in our life, especially with everything happening globally and still happening.
Mhm.
But you've accomplished so much, like wrestling in 20 plus promotions over the course of the year, and you keep going. And so it's been incredible. So talk about what that journey this past year has been like for you.
It's been really crazy. So, we like started last year off with the pandemic, and we all like were going through all of that. And I was still lucky that I still had access to a ring and was able to train. There's so many people who just didn't have wrestling at all. I was lucky I could still train. And then when we started having like no fan shows and limited shows, it just pushed me harder and harder because I had a new workspace. Like this is something completely different that I've never faced before, and it was like that for a lot of people, not just wrestling. And then it was crazy because I was doing that and online school and working my butt off. Um, but like the funny story I like to tell is like during Mania weekend, which was like huge weekend for me. That was my first ever Mania. I had 6 matches, and I was still doing online school during that. Like my first match was at Generation F for Jimmy Lloyd's show for GCW. And I was literally doing like a theater class and then ran out when I had my match. And like I warned my teacher of that week. I was like, I am going to be like on and off. You'll see me pop on and off. I promise I'm trying.
That's amazing. I mean, I can't even imagine doing six matches in such a short amount of time. And, are your teachers supportive of this? I'm sure your theater teacher is, but how do you
Yes,
balance school and all of the training and the shows that are a part of the wrestling life?
I just have an amazing support system, especially with my family and my really close friends. And even my teachers are very, very like working with me. Last year, like they were very understanding because of the pandemic and everything had happened. And they're like, we'll work with you guys. And even my freshman year, when there was no pandemic, they were just like, oh, this is what you want to do? Okay, have fun with it. And I love that so many people like sometimes they don't understand the world that I'm like consumed by, but they're still like, if this is what you want, go for it. I'm fully into it.
That's amazing. I mean, it's so important to have a good support system that will help you in all those different areas, help you with your homework, make sure you have set aside that time, make sure you have you time that you take care of yourself. I feel like self-care, if you're running around like that, you got to take time for yourself, right?
Yeah, my mom calls me out all the time. She's like, I think tonight you go take a bath, you go use a bath bomb, use a face mask, take a night. And she just bought me one of like the massage guns because I was like, oh, my shoulders have been like a little sore. And she was like, and got it. And I was like, oh, I love you.
That's amazing. See, your mom is so special. She's taking care of you.
She started driving me to shows more recently because like Mouse's work schedule started picking back up. And she was like, I hate driving, but I'm gonna do it for her.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so sweet. I love that. Like, it's so important to have such a great support system like that. So let's talk about you. You kind of wrestled like so many promotions this past year. You broke into GCW, one of the biggest independent promotions out there, a top tier promotion. You've had some incredible. You just had a match with Janae Kai that was like wild, bloody. I saw that. um, so, how does it feel to be a part of that promotion, and that you're kind of like breaking down doors everywhere else across the independent scene?
It was honestly one of those moments because GCW honestly doesn't have much female talent. And before I got there, it was just Allie. And I was like, this is one of the places that I want to be. And I'm going to show that I should be here. And then as soon as I was getting an opportunity and it came around because I kept showing up, and then he was like, you know what, get on pre-show, here, have a match. And then I kept getting more and more matches because I showed that this is the place I want to be and I have the work ethic for it.
That's amazing. It's such an important mindset to have. I mean, how when they told you like, hey, you're gonna have a pre-show match, how did you prepare for that? Going in, you're like, this is my time to shine. I'm gonna, you know, put in everything I got.
Funny story about that. I didn't know until like a couple minutes before or something like crazy. Cause like I always bring my bags and stuff when I want to
Yeah,
wrestle.
that's what
And
you do, right? You always bring your gear. You can't leave it at home.
see, Mouse like walks up to me and he's like, I think you might be on pre-show. Brett said something to me and I was like, okay. And then I like went and grabbed my bag, threw it in the back, and then I had two other people walk up to me because it wasn't confirmed yet. And it was like, I think it was like Jordan Oliver and Jimmy Lloyd. And they're like, oh, aren't you on pre-show? And I was like, no one's like really confirmed that I'm on pre-show. Everybody else knows but me. And then I got on pre-show because I think it was Nate Webb. He finally walked up and he was like, yeah, you're definitely on pre-show. Get dressed and get ready. And I was like, okay. It was one of those moments where I was like, okay, time to show out.
Exactly. You got to bring everything you have in your arsenal to, to a show. So talk about this Janae Kai match for GCW War Games, right? Like, how was that moment for you? Because it just happened.
Yeah, it was crazy because one, the crowd was just huge. It's been like a while since you've seen so many people together in one place, especially for wrestling. And I was just in like a awe moment that I'm like wrestling in front of all these people. And then it was also very, very like shocking when the blood got introduced. It was like a freak accident, like stuff happens.
Yeah.
But I was like, I feel like it just turned the intensity up more. And uh, for some reason, the crowd got behind it. And that was the second time I got to wrestle Janai. And I think she's a great performer. And it was just one of those moments that like I love every time I step into a ring. And that's like one of the matches where I'm like, let's go. Like I get so excited. I never get really nervous before matches. It's always just I am all the way like, let's go. I'm ready to wrestle because this is all I love to do.
Yeah, so like since you've wrestled her before, she has these like deadly kicks, right? That can take
Mhm.
anyone down. So how did you plan a second time around with her in the ring?
I think once you wrestle a person once, you like learn what really gets you. So like I knew like her chaos kicks, which is like the back and forth chest, chest, chest. I was like, I can't be stuck here much longer. I have to get out of here. So roll out, get away from this, and just keep it moving. And I had to throw new stuff at her that I haven't done before.
Yeah, definitely. You have to keep it fresh, keep her on her toes because she definitely brings it. I've seen a lot of her matches up close, and yeah, she could take you out pretty quickly. Not
Yeah.
you, just the general you, her competitors. So you've had lots of so part of the qualifications to be on the PWI 500. One of the qualifications is intergender matches and how many you have in the course of a year. And so I would love to know like your take on your intergender matches for this year and what was like your big takeaway because I think they have very different qualities.
I am a big fan of intergender matches. One, because it gives me more and different opponents to wrestle. So there's a lot of people who are like iffy about it, but me as a woman, I enjoy it so much because there is limited women on the indies to wrestle. So I have all these other opponents that I can wrestle, but for gender limits, that's trying to block that. And I feel like at the end of the day, we're both competitors, and we should be able to break that barrier and put on competitive matches and show that for the crowd for their entertainment. And I was so happy to be in as many intergender matches as I was this year. Um, oh, I always just have so much fun with them because of like the different stories we can tell. And for some reason, uh, I don't know what it is, but like I feel like the crowd gets more into it because it's something they don't get to see very often. And for me, I love that feeling of giving people something they've never seen before.
I like that. What has been your favorite intergender match this year that you've
I
been a
don't
part
want
of?
to choose.
I know it's a tough question. It's a really tough
Hmm.
question. Or a
Uh,
few. You can share with everyone some of your favorites.
I think I know what number one's going to be. I think it's me versus Marcus Mathers at Intergender Bonanza. It was just one of those moments where I was like, this is something I wanted. Uh, and it was just something like the building was so hot, but we were still able to put on a show for everybody. We were main event. And even though I lost, I had to take the 450 squash. But it was one of those things where it's like I had so much fun, and there's the intensity there because we both wanted to put on such a good match for other people's entertainment and for ourselves. Like we wanted something good for ourselves too.
Yeah, I think that's so important to have fun, right? To have fun and,
Mhm.
and really enjoy what you do. Because otherwise, what's the point, right?
Exactly. There's no
uh,
point in beating up our bodies.
yeah, exactly. So, do you have a big when you look at intergender matches that other wrestlers have done, are there any matches that have stood out to you or ones that you were like,
Ooh.
this is one, like it could be from, not just this past year, but from years past that you were like, this person knows how these should work.
One of my favorites that I actually like recently went back and watched was Blake Christian versus Kylie Ray at a Black Label show. The story they told was just amazing, and I think they're both like great competitors. And just seeing like their chemistry, it was so great. And their facial features. I don't know why, but that's always been a thing for me whenever I'm watching wrestling. I like seeing people's emotions change throughout the match. Like you can see that switch just be clicked.
Yeah, I mean, that is so important because that helps tell the story. You're telling a story and
Exactly.
you have to have all of that together. Um, so looking, we're in almost the end of 2021. We're heading into 2022. What do you foresee in the next year or so as you try to build up and try to climb the ranks of the PWI list in this next year? What do you foresee for yourself?
Ooh. Definitely collecting more belts. I feel like that's my next goal because I feel like I love the girl fight title, but I feel like I need a few more to add to the list.
Okay. Do you have
Uh,
any promotions you have your eye on that you want to challenge for a belt?
I definitely want the IWTV belt. I feel like that's one of my next goals, or at least to be a contender for it. I feel like that's something I can make possible within the next year or two. And then I would also love to be at Beyond. I feel like everything they had going on there was just like I love their storytelling and they do such a great job and their crowd is always so great to watch because you can see how invested they are. Um yeah, that's uh and my goal of course I mentioned this earlier, move up the ranks. Time
Yeah.
to get a bigger number.
Well, I definitely know that you're going to continue to amaze all of us as we watch and continue to see your journey. Um, I have to ask, you have the cutest bunny, Thumper.
Oh, let
And
me see
so
if I can find this
I don't know
boy.
if Thumper's around, but I also wanted to see what Thumper thought of you ranking on the PWI list.
I don't think he's gonna care much. He's on his couch right now, sleeping. Thumper, you're gonna run away from me? I've been betrayed. I woke him up from his nap.
That's
He's not
okay. That's
happy with
okay. We
me.
don't have to bother him. But if you don't think Thumper would care? I think he would. I think he
Uh,
would.
I think he only cares when I'm giving him carrots or celery.
Okay. Well, maybe ask him as you're giving him some carrots and celery.
That's when I
You
would
can,
get my praise.
yes, you can get his real opinion. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited we got to catch up and chat, and congratulations again for ranking on PWI 500's list for 2021. where can people follow you and keep up with all of the promotions and shows you're wrestling for?
All of my social media is at Billie Starkz, Billie, and then Starkz is Starkz. And you can keep up with all of my stuff there. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. This has been the PWI and Bell to Bells interview series for the PWI 500 list. And if you want to follow me on all social media platforms, I'm Emily Mae Heller. Thank you so much, Billie, for joining me. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much. It was great being here. Words.
It's all good. Thank you, Billie, so much.